Hey, what's going on? It's John Diop, back off mini vacation, back off a mini sabbatical, and today we need to talk about why Shaunie O'Neal said that she doesn't love Shaq. If you've been under a rock, recently she said in the press and on these videos that she never loved Shaq in her little book. And so it really made me question, why would someone get in the public and say these type of things about someone who they were married to for so long? You know, she was married to Shaq for a good minute, you know? And so with that being said, it made me question, why would someone decide to say these things publicly? Here's why Shaunie O'Neal doesn't love Shaq. Reason number one, her emotions are based on material things. When you look at Moon and Taurus, this is a woman who doesn't feel comfortable, who doesn't feel really the love until material things are exchanged. This is a woman who does not feel good when she doesn't have material things. So that already lets you know that off the rip, she was already looking at materials, looking at what he has, looking at stature, you know, looking at position in life, looking at who can give me the best deal. The next thing that we have that shows in this chart that supports this is Jupiter square Neptune. What does that mean? When you have Jupiter, the planet of money, square Neptune, the planet of illusions, this shows someone who was so busy chasing money that they didn't look at what comes with the money. See, Neptune is not in touch with reality. So she figured she was going to get Shaq, she was going to stay married and drain his money forever, or whatever she figured. She was basically disillusioned by the money. And so what she got isn't necessarily what she envisioned in her mind. And what she envisioned in her mind was this lavish life, and I want to be an NBA wife and do all the traveling. And she said in the video that she didn't do all this traveling and all these things that she imagined in her mind. And that's because she was so busy chasing that money that the reality never came. And so she got with him for the wrong reasons. Now, the last one, and it's very important that a man look at this. Jupiter in the 12th house. Jupiter, once again, we're talking about money in the 12th house. What does the 12th house represent? The 12th house represents secrets. It represents what can be your downfall. It represents that thing that you can be so attached to that it can pull you down. And so with that being said, it's obvious that this is the type of person that will chase money into destructive situations. This is the type of person that will chase money and be with someone who they absolutely hate in order to get paid, because they so busy focusing on money, once again, that they get things that they didn't necessarily bargain for, and it can cause them to have serious setbacks in life. So all that complaining and crying she doing about, oh, it was so hard and it was so all of that is because you didn't look before you left or before you decided to leave. You went ahead and embraced that money and that lifestyle, and it cost you, because the 12th house costs you things when you don't decide to look at the reality of the situation. Now, number two is Shaq wifed a single mom. And why did Shaq wife up a single mom? It is because Shaq is the product of a single mom, and also Shaq is Sun in Pisces. And anyone who knows their charts and knows astrology knows that Pisces can be a sucker for a sob story. So he saw her, he saw maybe she was broke, she didn't have as much, you know what I mean? She's not living the lifestyle. And Shaq being taught that a man steps up and steps in, which is female logic, which is something that females use to guilt men. And we're going to get into guilt in a minute. But it's something that females use to guilt men into taking care of their children that they've had with other men. And so with that being said, Shaq came in at a weak position. Shaq came in having to be the caretaker and the money. It's because that was something that he felt sorry about. He felt bad for her because she got a son and she ain't got no man, and he's looking at it seeing his mother. And so with that being said, Shaq embraced that because that's how his mother raised him. And so he felt sorry for her and he decided to uplift her. And now we get to the part where it's like the story of the frog and the snake. You know what I mean? Where the frog decides to give the snake a ride across the pond, and then the snake stings him and they both die. Or he bites them and they both die. That's the same thing that happened with this particular story when we get to the next part. Shaunie is controlling and manipulative. And also, she can't let go of Shaq. What sign do we know that's controlling, they're manipulative, and they can't let Scorpio. She's bent on revenge. She is Mars in Scorpio. She's also Mercury in Scorpio. So not only did she do vindictive things to Shaq, like taking his children away, like smashing up and vandalizing his vehicles, these are all things that she's admitted. She also said venomous things to him, and that's one of the reasons why it's coming out now. It's because Scorpio holds on to the venom until they can get revenge. She held on to that venom and that vitriol and that hatred for him, that anger at him. And a lot of women are going to see that and say, oh, it's justified because he cheated. It was something that was there from day one. This is not something that just happened. This isn't something that just, moved into her character. It was part of her character from day one, and Shaq didn't catch it. He didn't see it. There was something in that chart that I'm going to point out that didn't allow Shaq to see her properly for what she is. That she was venomous, that she was angry, that she was bent on revenge, and that she couldn't let go. She probably couldn't let go of the guy she had a child with, and she definitely can't let go of Shaq because she's still holding on to his name. Shaunie O'Neal is still written all over everything. Why? Because that name gives her the clout. It gives her the importance. And let's move on to this next part. Mars square Lilith. What does Mars square Lilith mean? It means someone who enjoys a power struggle. They enjoy fighting over control. They enjoy fighting over domination. And that's the reason why she chose a new guy who's in the church, who's a pastor, who's a Cancer, is because she's looking for victims. She's looking for men that she feels she can control. One of the reasons why I see this and I say this is because also when you look at the videos on her page, she has a caption that says, behind every strong woman. Now we know that the phrasing is behind every strong man, there's a woman. Or behind every successful man, there's a woman. But she put that caption and she shows the man being behind her, the new guy, the pastor, Keon. She shows him being behind her. She shows him looking like an assistant. He's walking beside her, looking all meek and, looking at her for guidance. She's leading him because she fights for domination and control over men. But here's the thing, most people who, when they actually achieve it, they actually decide to despise the person who gave it to them, because what they really wanted was a power struggle. What they really wanted was a fight. And Shaq has a dominant personality. Shaq looks like he can be soft, and he has some soft spots for Shaunie, but overall, Shaq has a dominant personality. And Shaq said, you're not gonna run me, especially not when I'm paying these bills, when I'm providing, when I'm bringing money in this house. I'm gonna do what I want. And that's part of what happened. That's part of the breakdown, that she decided to try to control and manipulate, and she lost that battle. And when a manipulator, when someone who wants control cannot win, they give up and walk away. And that's what her divorce was. It was not about his fidelity. It was about her finally giving up and walking away because there was control that she couldn't have. Now, the final one, and one of the most important ones. Let me cover the topic of guilt real quick. Shaq has, I believe, Mars in the first house. In that position, this is the type of person that will blame themselves, and they will admit fault, and they will take accountability for what they did. And so with that being said, Shaunie is also manipulating Shaq's guilt because he feels sorry for himself for what he did, and he also feels sorry for her once again. Again, we have this Piscean cycle where he's feeling sorry about what he did, and he's giving in to her because of his guilt about something. He felt guilty that he got and she don't got. He felt guilty that he cheated on her anyway. And so he allows her to have this control and to say these venomous things. But the last one, she has Lilith in Aquarius, and that position is promiscuous. It means she hates rules and she hates structure. And it means that what I'm about to say is gospel. From the streets she came, and to the streets she will return. A woman who is coming out of the streets will eventually return to the streets. You cannot change her. You cannot shift her. You cannot mold her. If she's in the streets, leave her in the streets, but understand that what you're getting from her is temporary. So, with that being said, that's why Shaunie said and did what she did. From the streets she came, to the streets she will return. Peace.